Shah, and I'm Professor of Management at Lake Forest Graduate School in Chicago. Let me introduce today's holistic science expert. Dr. Sailesh Mehta, or we call him Dr. Sailesh Anandji, is a practicing ophthalmologist who owns a hospital in Vadodara, India. From his childhood, he was curious about the deeper truths of life. Self-realized holistic scientist, Shri M. Patel, and through his grace, Dr. Mehta attained self-realization. 27. Dr. Mehta is a celibate and is deeply experienced in the field of holistic inner science. He devotes his time to studying, researching, and spreading the message of holistic inner science. To spread the message of holistic science, he has traveled to countries such as USA, UK, Canada, and New Zealand. His speeches on holistic science have been well received at national and international conferences. Several books, which include Introduction to Holistic Science and Integral Living and Science of Liberation. Welcome, Sailesh Anandji.
So my greetings to all of you across, who are all representing different countries of the world, USA, Germany, Canada. So let's start today's talk, attachment and aversion. Before I really go to the subject, if we look back in our journey to happiness, in search of happiness and what hinders our happiness, we traveled a lot looking at various visions for daily happy, harmonious living. Then we looked at our relative inner self machinery. How does it function? Mind, reflective consciousness, intellect, ego, opinions, and other things. We also looked at the wealth part, which we readily associate with our happiness or unhappiness, and different dimensions of the wealth. Then we went to the subtle aspects of the human life and living, like pride, greed, or ego. And now we are into one more subtle aspect in the form of attachment and aversion. The enlightened ones have studied, experienced, revealed, and they are guiding us into the holistic inner science of our life and living. And out of various things, the inner subtlemost things are 6. They are anger, pride, greed, deceit, attachment, and aversion. So now we are going to talk about attachment and aversion in today's talk. And before I really go into the subtle aspects, let's start with little commoner and gross aspects. And we all are familiar with 2 most important words in the world for us, for everybody, I and my. So from the childhood, we start attaching the things as, oh, my or mine. This is mine. This is not mine. This is my doll or my toy. And there is a fight starting with even with a sibling. No, this is my toy. I won't give you. This is yours. So if somebody's toy is broken, we are not affected. But if my toy is broken, it will break my heart. So this my is a chain. It's an immaterial chain which binds me to the different things, different objects, different relations, different people. And that's how we start associating or believing happiness and unhappiness. So even the worldly people observes this. So with everything, whether it is inanimate, non-live or live, we start attaching my or mine, or not mine, not mine. So as we grow older, we say, this is my notebook, this is my pen, this is my pencil. Why do you touch my pen? Please don't touch my pen. Now this pen some time back was not mine because it was lying in the store, it was with somebody else. But no sooner it becomes my or mine, the effect starts. So as we grow further, we have my bungalow, my wife, my children, my prestige, my name, my status, everything as we start joining as my or mine. There's a very interesting story. One time, a friend like me went out for vacation with Manish Bhai. We're quite away from the homeland, and a phone call comes. Oh, your house is on fire. This number and number. And the friend started smiling. So Manish Bhai was little amazed that has this guy got a crazy? Has Sailesh Anandji got crazy? Why is he smiling? And when the phone call comes that your house is on fire? So slowly I will reveal that, oh, it is not my house now. I have sold it before 1 week. So for few pieces of papers, that my or ownership or attachment has gone, and the effect also goes off. The another very interesting humorous story, when we first get engaged in our life, before engagement, there is no my or mine with a husband or wife or male or female, and both are free and fine and fair. But once the note is tied my or mine, everything inside inner world and outer world changes. My wife, my husband. So it so happened that for one gentleman, his wife passed away after, let's say, 6 to 7 years of married life. And that gentleman was so much depressed. Oh, there is nothing in the life to be lived upon. I will like to now sacrifice my life. And he was so much in disturbance. And everybody tried to console and to persuade, but he was not getting out of gloom. Now he comes to holistic scientist and says that if you can help me. So holistic scientist explains him various things about the eventuality, what is in our hand and not, but then comes to a very humorous but a fact part. And he asks that, okay, before 7 years, when your notes were tied, if she would have met you in a train or in a bus or in a market, would you have done anything for her? So no. Why? I was not knowing her. She was not my fiance or my wife. Then what happened in all these 7 years? You went on winding the turns, my wife, my wife, my wife, my wife. So attachment becomes stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger without any visible bond or without any visible chain. You were bound in these attachments. So when this circumstance passed away, you are now getting disturbed. So the easiest way is unwind. She was not, or she's not my wife, she's not my wife, she's not my wife. And the gentleman did it and was free. So this is a subtle mystery, that how the inner things work for us, that no sooner we put the label of my or mine or attachment is there, it starts affecting us. A doctor is treating my son. The father is standing away, much away. But no sooner the doctor puts a cut and a drop of blood and the father faints away. There was no visible chain. Why father faints away? Because that subtle attachment chain was there. Oh, my son had a bleeding. And it literally happened a couple of months back. My nephew had come and my brother was getting a tooth extraction and we both were standing a little away. And my nephew saw that my father is getting little pain when the tooth is getting extracted, and he really collapsed, fainted, and got some injuries. So I had to take him to the hospital and take the sutures. What worked between that distance? My attachment, my father is getting pain. If there would have been somebody where this bond of attachment would not have been there, probably there would have been no effect. So this is a wonderful part, that wherever we have attached ourselves as my or mine or with attachment, there is going to be some effect. Now let's go to the subtle aspects of that. That I am is there, but I don't know who am I and what is my form. Leave it aside, but I start attaching everything either with attachment or with aversion. And believe me, wherever I have attachment, someday it will result into reactionary aversion. I'll give you an example. In our younger days, the people say, oh, he or she is my very good friend and I can't live, and always I remember him or her and whatnot. And one fine day, there is some dispute, or a gentleman or a gentle lady sees that, oh, her or his behavior is something different, and a very severe aversion results. No, I don't want to see his face. I don't want to see her face in the lifetime again. Forget, I have torn my that chapter of life and whatnot. And the people have broken hearts and need psychiatric consultation also. So first principle is, wherever there is attachment, beware, it may result into reactionary aversion. Wherever there is aversion, beware, it may result into reactionary attachment. And second part, Suppose I like something very much. I like Manish Bhai and I have a very deep attachment with Manish Bhai. And Manish Bhai phones me that, okay, doctor, after 10 days, I'm going to come to India and I might try to visit you. And I'm eagerly waiting. Oh, Manish Bhai will come, Manish Bhai will come. Now Manish Bhai says that, okay, I had planned one day with you, but sorry, I have to leave in 1 hour and I will become unhappy. So wherever I have attachment with whatever circumstances, sanjogs, person or a thing, when it leaves me, it gives me pain. And wherever I have aversion, I don't like something, I don't like Rajni Bhai at all. And Rajni Bhai phones me that I'm going to come to you, that before he comes, he makes me unhappy. So the circumstance, which is where I am attached with aversion or wherever I have aversion, the very information of this situation coming gives me pain. Wherever the likeliness or the attachment, when it is living, gives me pain. So both give me pain at one or other stage. This is where the enlightened ones bring out a very beautiful truth, that there are only two things in life, self and circumstances. Self is my pure self, and there are circumstances. Which is the most major or biggest or important circumstance for me? This my mind, speech, and body, where also I have attachment of my and mind. So something happening to body, something happening. If somebody says your speech was not good, then it strikes me, oh, my speech is criticized. So that attachment with mind, body, and speech, with my name and name belonging things, immediately affects me good or bad way. And the good way doesn't last long because it is going to react. So the enlightened ones are very wise people. They say enjoy everything, move around, but don't fall into the trap of attachment or aversion. We go to trips, we go to Switzerland, we go to nice mountains, we go to nice, and we enjoy. But as long as we are not bound to the things with attachment or aversion, good and bad, with opinions, we are fine. But no sooner we start attaching ourselves, my or mine or no good or good, then I think our happiness gets shattered off rather than becoming happy. We start falling prey to unhappiness or bindings. So this subtle secret is put forward very simply, that enjoy everything, go through all the phases of life, meet everybody, do all your dealings, look and enjoy the world, but please beware that don't get attached or bound with attached. Somebody's phone should be, means computer should be muted because it gets back as an echo. So if I'm aware that I should keep a watch on attachment and aversion, then I can enjoy everything. I can pass through all the relations, all the works, all the things in the life, but will remain happy or blissful and will not be unhappy either by the circumstances which I like when they leave me, or the circumstances which I don't like when they come to me. I will not remain unhappy. So this is a brief introduction of a very subtle science. I have put it forward simply. And if I add on to that a little scientific dimension or a little scientific aspect to it, then we immediately know that wherever we have attachment, our emotions get imbalanced. Our harmony may get a little shattered, and we do not remain equanimous. The another word is equanimity. So we know that the above normal attachment or above normal aversion or below normal will affect our harmony, will affect our energy level, will affect our happiness, and still more on the subtler aspect, the pure conscious, which is an elemental form having its innate properties, it gets attached or it gets into the reaction mode or it gets into the sort of different working mode with outer side things in the form of situations or persons through this attachment and aversion. And that very thing is responsible for new bondage, creating new bondages, and one has to undergo the effect of these bondages when it gives the effect out. So here is the Lord Mahavir said only 4 sentences as a crux of the enlightenment of the whole universe, which speaks of this thing. He said, Ego me shasopa, only my pure self is the eternal one. Shesha me bahira bhava, rest everything is extraneous and external to me. How do I identify that? ego me shasho appa, shesha me bahira bhava, savve sanyog lakshana. One which is of the nature of circumstances, coming and going, accumulation and dispersion, beginning and end, is extraneous to me, the thing which are always changing, maybe in the form of shape, name, relations, whatever you say, they are not my part, but they are outside me. Then he says, Sanjoga mula jivena patta dukham parampara. Because I believed the circumstances, I attached myself with the circumstances as mine or my, the whole chain or events of unhappiness or sorrows or bindings and bondages and botheration started. Tamma sanjog sambandham savam tivenam vasaryami. So now I am surrendering all these my wrong beliefs of my and mineness into the situations and relations at the lotus feet of the enlightened one. So this four sentences speaks a lot about whether it is a my or mineness in the gross, or where in the subtle aspect it is attachment and aversion. So this is a very wonderful science, and here even the Western philosophers are now focusing on to this. I happened to read Eckhart Tolle, and I was very pleasantly surprised that he also talks of the same thing, that as long as you identify yourself with the objects, with the relations, with the things, having shape or color or smell or finite duration as my or mine, and you are trying to derive happiness from that, you will really not be happy. So know everything, but remain in present means remain knower and seer. In other words, he also wants to make us aware that please don't fall into the trap of attachment and aversion with all these things. So everybody is now trying to think over that how can I be really happy from within, because I have a bigger pay packages but lesser inner happiness or lesser peace of mind. I have a bigger house but a smaller family and whatnot. So this holistic inner science, in a very simple and through very simple understandings, through very simple keys, it can transform the world within and ultimately the world outside. And we pleasantly term it as the new vision and new world. You know, you discover the world within, and you will be able to make it the new world within and the new world outside. And believe me, nobody can encroach onto it. You will not be dependent on anybody, but it will be your self-sufficient, or the world depending on your understanding, depending on your visions. And in whatever type of circumstances we can be, extremely crucial, challenging, or extremely pleasant, we can remain blissful or happy. Jai Satchidanand. And now I will wait for questions, because you are so many of you, and I am sure that your mind must be ready with so many questions. So let's go to the questions.
Go ahead. Please introduce yourself, give your name and where you're from.
Yeah. Hello, Suresh Anandji. This is Mithul Taylor from Johannesburg, working for Tata Consultancy Services. Regarding attachment, yes, I have got a question. I mean, two things. Attachment, yeah, definitely we are human, so we are attached to each other. Like, so we have got friends, colleagues, families. Okay, regarding friends and colleagues is fine, but attachment in family, we do have very much attachment with our parents or say sister or brother. I mean, we are so much attached that if something is wrong with them, we feel like we are in tension or something like that. If they are happy, we are happy. I know, like, it's something a different thing. I mean, in my state, I am a person and they are living their life, and they are, if there is a suffering, then it's their own part. But still, that attachment things come. So it is good to have attachment in family, but how it should be dealt with, like,
Very,
what should be our reaction when something happens?
very good, Mithul. I know that attachment. Sorry, please mute your computer. It's coming back to me. So every human being in the living, relative living means at living with at the level of mind, body, and speech, will have attachments and aversions as you are describing. But there are two things. Let's ask myself, am I doing everything to remain happy and keep others happy? or this particular situation is making me unhappy or the others unhappy. Simple bottom line. And as you are describing something happening to the family and we get disturbed or we get sad or we get depressed or something, vice versa. And whether we are euphoric if they get something good. But I should ask myself, okay, if I remain stable and steady in this situation rather than getting disturbed or sad or depressed, not only I will help myself, but I'll be able to better help them also. So that situation will balance you out how you should tackle that situation. For example, if my father or my mother is sick or very sick, if I get very much depressed and disturbed, not only I'm not able to help them because I can't realize or think properly or help them properly, but even I'm harming myself also. So both are at loss. Rather, if I remain stable or steady, then not only I'm helping myself, but by my comprehension and compositeness, I'll be able to help the situation also. So this is a very practical one thing, that in any situation, if rather I become very overjoyed or very over sad, it doesn't help. Now the part two, that as we are living with all the people at family or at workplace or at some other place, we are going to have some feelings for each other, and they are natural, and let them be natural. The only point is, if I keep the feelings as natural, and if I go one step ahead, that I convert them into pure love, where there are no attachments and aversions, but there is humanly love without any expectation or condition, then the situation will be very different and very good for me as well as for with whom I am dealing with. And the second part, I have to know that it is the Mitul who is dealing with the situation in all worldly relations, and I am separate, or I have to know that
We lost
I
him.
think we lost Sailesh Anandji.
Um,
Yeah, let's give him a couple of minutes to join back.
Yeah, he might have accidentally punched the wrong button or something.
Yeah. Hopefully he'll be back soon.
I'll call him.
Oh, he's back.
sorry for little interruption. So if I know that, as I started with the thing, that there are two things, self and circumstances, self and people. If I remain in my own self, know my own nature, then I can guide my mind, speech, and body, or you can guide the Mitul that, okay, Mitul, you will have naturally some attachment, aversion with the family members, but deal in this way. So you will also be at a better shape and you will also be able to help your relations. So as we understand the things, we can remain in this world and deal with the relations or situations, but at the same time we get clear of more and more uh, ignorance. From ignorant things we go to more and more mindful state, or the state of enlightenment. So attachment and aversion is the result of state of ignorance, and when one becomes a sort of wise or self-realized, or a little bit of realization, one moves towards the other end, where without the attachment or belongings or the mindness or feelings, one can deal with the situation in the most beautiful way. Here I'll share one of my experience with you. My father was very sick in 94, being the doctor, I decided to try the best. I left my practice and sat with, was all the time with him for 7 days. But somehow I could not, Shailesh could not save him. So all the time, because of that atomic and molecular connectivity of these long years, Shailesh was getting affected. He was getting a little depressed. My mother was noticing that. I also knew that Shailesh is getting a little down. I tried to explain Shailesh, tried to keep him normal, but could not, because some atomic and molecular interconnectivity effects you cannot totally abolish. But I was very well knowing that what is acting at what level. And I was also trying to see the pure self, which is immortal in him, and do my job. And once after 1 week, when the final eventuality was out there, I immediately started working on myself that, okay, whatever the time duration we had to remain together was this. Now the nature has changed that. If the relations or some interconnectivity remains, will again come together in different form. But let me work on myself. And I started working on myself and I got out. So this is how one has to work upon one's own relative self at various places to get to the correct state of being within at the relative level and at the level of our own conscious living level or the inner conscious living level. I hope I am able to answer your question to the.
Yes, yes, definitely. I mean, this is the way even I think many times, but sometimes it like I fails to do so. So I just thought let us take a better explanation from you how it can be did. Okay,
Right.
got the answer. Thank you.
So we have our next question. Please give me your name and where you're from.
My name is Ajay Raval, and I'm working at Madison, Wisconsin in USA as a civil engineer. So on our topic, I understand what you try to mention is detach with the attachment. That's the call. But sometimes what Mitul says, that's another aspect, like is a family attachment. But I want to know little about how we should manage ourselves in our daily routine of work life that has intense pressure to perform, to get the goal and prove yourself that you are doing something better than anyone else, and that pressure keep us like to focus more on the work. And at that time we forget like we are doer, we are not just like doing the work, but we need to detach ourselves from that pressure. So if you can tell us little bit about how to set our daily routine work activity that will help us to detach from this attachment.
All right. So before we go into the details of that situation, let me share one good aphorism of this holistic inner science. All these relatives are temporary adjustments and real is permanent. So having said that, when you are at work or I am at work, I have to tell my relative self, that is Shailesh, or you have to tell your relative self or Ajay, that Ajay, do your best with best sincerity, best morality, to best of your understanding, care, caution, skills and abilities, and leave rest to nature. So, because there are so many circumstantial evidences which come into play for the outcome. So it is here that you have done your best to best of your care, caution, abilities, understanding, with best sincerity and morality. Then whether there is appreciation or whether there is criticism, you should know that, you should understand that, but should not say that attach is my or mine. That okay, my work got appreciation or my work got criticism. If that my can be consciously seen, everything will go to the best, but the effects will be nullified. So it is here. See, people do a lot of things. They crave that, oh, my should be recognized, my work should be recognized, oh, I have done, and why the Manish Bhai gets credit, my team has done, and Rajani Bhai's team is getting credit. That my leads them to die hard, what you say, die hard word. And that if I remain aware, that for what? If I'm craving for credit and appreciation and I'm testing it, I must be ready to test the equal criticism or bitterness arising out of the criticism. So that little talk with myself will keep me. So that is why all the Eastern philosophy, if you see, they say that do everything, but na idam mama. This is not mine. Within, you remain aware that this is not mine. So the people say it is God's. I offer to the God. There are various ways, but all are leading to the same thing, trying to keep away from the attachment which is inherent human psychology. Because once you attach to it, there are going to be the consequences attached to it resulting out of that. So either you say this is not mine, na idam mama, or you say that whatever good or bad is accruing is out of natural regulatory system and it's not me as an independent doer, or whatever word you want to use, but be aware. So you will be able to perform the best. At the same time, you will be able to keep away from the effects. And of course, you will have the satisfaction, you will have the fulfillment. No sooner you try your best with best of your understanding, care, caution, abilities, there is going to be your share of fulfillment, there is going to be your share of satisfaction, there is going to be your self of inner upliftment, and that's all which you want out of that work, not the things which is accruing out of the attachment or aversion. Hope I'm clear. And if one who is more fortunate to have the vision lives with the two visions, that this is relative and these are the relative roles, and I as the pure conscious am real, and I am just the knower and seer, not the owner of all these things. So the ownership belief and the doership belief, which are the two pillars of the wrong beliefs, are fractured when the person knows even a little bit about one's own pure self. So by these two viewpoints, relative and real, you can live in all situations. Why work alone? Everywhere, wherever you go, if you use these two visions that, okay, this is relative and the relative self has to deal with it in a best possible way, and I as real am different and knower and seer and not the owner of the things.
Yeah, I got your answer. And yeah, that's the way to deal with it. Relative and real. That viewpoint will help me a lot. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, we have our third question from the audience. Please give your name and where you're from.
Good morning, good evening. This is Rajnikant Patel, a retired executive, and in my pastime now I'm writing children books. This is a very interesting topic, and long ideas can come out. But you know, in our daily life, everything we do, we have a liking or a dislike. That goes to attractions and aversions. So, you know, that is, how can we really get separated out in every instant, every moment of that, you know, and not get into the trap of attraction and aversion, especially with material things, especially with our dear ones, where, you know, we have to be very careful that we don't get caught up, say, oh, you don't love us.
So there is a small difference between liking, disliking, and attachment and aversion. Liking and disliking are simpler things or lighter things which work at the level of mind and with some influence of intellect. Because in this world, we are going to like something, we are going to dislike something, and we have all the dual opinions, good and bad, should be, should not be, ought to be, ought not to be, excellent, bad. So this is going to go at the level of mind. And as long as mind itself is born out of opinions and language, and the opinion is nothing but duality, so that's fine. But no sooner my deeper self, I, gets joined with these likes and dislikes, it gets into attachment and aversion. So if I can remain little bit knower and seer, if I see the drama of my relative inner self or mind or intellect, which is showing me likes and dislikes, it's fine. But if I attach myself as, oh, this is my, I like this and I don't like this, if I gets attached at the core of being, then it may translate into attachment and aversion. So attachment and aversion is a much deeper down thing at our core of being. And it affects a lot, including the inviting new karmic bonds or new atoms and molecules, and also the effects while undergoing the effects of the old karmic bonds. So the simple thing is, as I said always, I'll share an interesting example with you. Suppose you go to a wonderful museum, maybe in USA or wherever in the world you have gone. You see and enjoy everything and you are amazed. But can you take anything from that museum to your home? Will they allow you?
No.
And suppose nobody is seeing and I try to snatch something and take home, what will happen? I'll be imprisoned, right? So if I use the same simile, that move across the world, enjoy everything, but don't take anything from the museum of this world to home. What does that mean? No sooner I give the opinion and no sooner I get myself much engrossed into that duality of opinion, good or bad, should or should not be, I get into sort of attachment and aversion. So I can enjoy, see everything and feel everything. But if I remain a little bit aware that let it be only at the level of mind or intellect, and let me not get involved into that, rather let me enjoy everything as a neutral observer, then I think I can remain free of the effects of all the things. Again, the vision of relative and real helps me, that all these things are happening in the relative. Mind is relative inner self, speech, body, and me as real. What is the relation of me as real with these relative happenings at the level of mind, intellect, or other levels? Is I am the knower and seer of the happenings and not really the one who is getting into the happenings. So if I can live little consciously with little awareness and understanding, I think we can enjoy and go through everything and yet not fall prey to attachment or aversion. So that is why I said that the enlightened ones fracture the basic attachment first. And what is that basic attachment? I am name bearer Shailesh is the first basic attachment. And of course, associated with that, this is my mind, my body, my speech, my relations, my karmas, my feelings, everything here is the basic attachment. So the enlightened ones, they make you realize that yes, your Shailesh is correct, but by relative point of view. Yes, mind, body, speech is correct. Yours is correct, but by relative point of view. By real point of view, you are the pure self, and none of these things belong to you, because they are the passing phases of life and they are changing, and after some time you will have a newer one. So all these passing and changing circumstances, including mind, speech, body, name belonging, attachments or karmas or feelings, they are the relative passing phases or the circumstances, and I as real am different and knower and seer of that. So if that understanding is cultivated within me, or if I try to cultivate that understanding, I think it gives the answer to everything. Unless that basic attachment is broken, with attachment of ignorance is broken, I'm going to end up into the whole web or net of attachments and aversions wherever I go, whenever I go, wherever I deal, whatever I deal.
Yeah, that's a very good answer. But now, to be detached, how can you really get your work done with sincerity and morality if you think this is relative and doesn't matter?
No, I'll correct the word. I don't use word detachment. I use word be in your real self, attach with the real correct nature of yourself. Once you attach yourself with your real correct nature, with that awareness of real correct nature, your relative self will function better way, more harmoniously, more naturally along the lines of its potentials being brought out in an optimum or a better or best way. Because I'm puzzled inside, my relative self also cannot work harmoniously. Its potentials also are not brought out properly. So no sooner I attach myself to my correct nature, my proper nature as my relative self also becomes more harmonious. Its potentials are working better way, or it's at its optimum or its best. And the it will, in my aware guidance, with I'm guiding in with my best of awareness, a Prakriti or the personality will perform the things with utmost sincerity and utmost morality. Again, there is a science, because it experiences that by becoming sincere, I am enjoying my fulfillment. I'm remaining truthful to my own self. I become fearless. I become happy from within. I'm not becoming sincere or insincere to others. I'm becoming sincere to my own self for my own happiness, true for same morality. So everywhere the science is experienced in a proper way, that everything is first affecting me and what is in my interest.
So, if I understand this correctly, what you're saying that whatever I'm doing, I need to watch myself, and once I watch myself, then I can properly handle the situation. Am I understanding
Yes.
right?
Yes. The people use the word awakened living or a conscious living or whatever word is being used, but this is yes. And in that case, what happens, another aspect, Rajni Bhai, is as we started, the bottom line is we are seeking happiness. So
Yeah.
long as I was not aware, I was trying to seek happiness from the situations or relations I like the most by getting deeper and deeper into that attachments, and was suffering also. But now I know that, oh, happiness lies in my own self. So my whole context of finding happiness from the situation or from the relations changes. And that right belief puts me into the proper perspective that, okay, as a conscious self, I'm remaining blissful or happy, independent of the things. So let the things be handled in its own proper perspective. So the whole perspective, from incorrect understanding comes to correct understanding, from wrong belief comes to right belief, from incorrect vision comes to correct vision, which in scriptural terms is said to be the samyak drashti, or the samyak vision, or the right vision.
Okay, so that means we have to be sure that we keep happiness at the back of our mind all the time for adjustments.
Yes, at the center of our life and living, that's the thermometer for me, that, okay, whatever I'm doing, whether I'm getting unhappy, disturbed, bound myself, whether I'm making others disturbed, putting them into stress or other way.
Okay. Earlier you had said we have to surrender our belief. Does it mean that you just said we have to just be aware of our belief and change our belief to tailor our life to happiness? Is that what you meant?
So the belief about the self, as long as I have the belief that I am name bearer Shailesh, I will have the belief that I am doer. I will have the belief that this mind, body, speech are mine. I will have the belief that everything is mine or mine. So once I know who am I really, once if I am fortunate to come across some self-realized, enlightened person, he will make me experience that, okay, you are Shailesh, but by relative point of view, and your true self is the Shuddhatma self or the pure conscious state. And by real point of view, you are Shuddhatma, and by relative point of view, you are Shailesh. And the Shailesh has to deal with all its interconnections or interconnected accounts or relations and duties in an amicable way with equanimity. And I, as pure self, has to know or remain aware as a knower and seer. So it is not, it is surrendering the wrong belief. It is not surrendering, but it is getting from wrong belief to the right belief. That's what I meant to say. And subsequently, if your basic belief becomes right, there are n number of beliefs about everything we are harboring about the things in the world, be it the relations or be it the material things. And then subsequently, each belief will get into correction mode so that it will make us happy as well as it will make others happy. Otherwise, at the moment, numerous beliefs, they bother us as well as they bother others also, including our near and dear ones. Our beliefs bother mostly our nearest and dearest ones.
Yes.
And they also tell us that please come out of your beliefs, but we are trapped so much. And there is another humorous story. My brother shared at Mumbai Shibir that an elephant, a younger elephant, when he's newly born and is tied with a chain, and that elephant tries to make himself free but cannot make free. So the belief is set in that, okay, I can break this chain, I cannot become free. So when the elephant grows elder, he has a lot of strength, but that belief is there that I can't break this chain, so he cannot come out of that chain. Similarly, there is another humorous story that a person had, let's say, 100 donkeys, and at night he wanted to tie them, but he was short of one rope. So he was puzzled that what should I do with this one donkey? He will move away. So wise men came and said, as you have tied 99, you just pretend to tie this 100th one and believe he will be there in the morning, that donkey will not run away. And to the surprise of this man, the donkey was standing there because he was in the belief that I am also tied. And then next morning, that gentleman unroped the rest of the donkeys, 99. He didn't unrope the 100 because he had not tied actually. Then 99 started moving away, but this was not moving. So again, he was puzzled that he tried to push, but he was not moving at all. So again, he called the wise man that why this 100 donkey, 99 are moving, this I have not tied, wise man. You have to change his belief that you are unroping or unwinding him, because you had put the belief that you are also tied. So he pretended to unwind, the belief is changed, and then the donkey moved. So this is our state that we.
Okay, thank you very much.
Beliefs, they were not in line with the holistic science of the life and living and the nature and natural laws. So when our beliefs get into the aligned with the nature and natural laws of life and living, and in a universal mode, not only we become free and blissful, but we can make others free and blissful.
Thank you.
So this is how the things work. This is a very vast subject, Rajni, but we are just touching in a very simple way, trying to make the things simple for the common people.
Yes, thank you very much.
Any more question, Manish bhai, or the time? What's the? Yeah, I think time is still there.
I think Manish bhai, we might have lost Manish bhai.
So anybody can ask question. So meanwhile, if the question is not coming, something comes to me that, okay, now how do we improve on the situation? So with the inner awareness, spare some time, see for yourself which are the attachments or aversions which are bothering me most, which are affecting me most, maybe positively or negatively. And you can list few of them with wife, with husband, with children, with family members, with whatever job, with my house or whatever. So list them that these are the places where my bondages of attachments or aversions are very severe or forceful and affecting me a lot. No sooner you become aware, you will also start finding the solutions to it, and you will start getting free of them. So try to look within, try to make the list of the things where you are getting affected most, and from within the answers or solutions will come.
Okay. Is there any other questions? Okay, I think, Shailashani, this was excellent. And like you said, it's a very vast topic. Hopefully, this audience and other audience will ask questions. And if maybe we may repeat this again, or we'll see how it goes. And thank you very much, everybody, for joining. And Shailashani, thank you very much for this wonderful talk.
Thank you.